have a crisis of leadership in our world? This is Father Jonathan Meyer, and this is Alive, and we are looking at John chapter 12, verse 20 through 33. I think a lot of people believe that there's a crisis in leadership in our world, in our church, in our government, a crisis in fatherhood, in our families. I would agree with that. But is it a crisis in leadership, or is it actually a crisis in followers? Jesus says today, "He who serves me must follow me." Do we have a crisis in leadership, or do we have a crisis in following? Isn't our problem really the fact that no one is following Jesus and everyone's leading themselves? Seems to me that we have way too many leaders, but everyone's leading in the wrong direction. We have a lot of narcissistic, prideful people instead of individuals who are willing to choose to submit themselves to Christ. We have a lot of individuals who believe that they know the right way, and they're unwilling to humble themselves and submit themselves to Christ, who is the only way. What does our world need right now? It needs a bunch of followers. It needs those who are leaders, those in government, those in politics, those in our church, to actually follow Jesus, to follow what he says, to follow what he did radically. Let's pray for that grace. Let's pray for more followers, particularly for those who claim to be leaders. Let's look at some discussion questions for John chapter 3, verse 14. John chapter 12, verse 20 through 33. John chapter 12, verse 20 through 33. I want to encourage you, if you haven't done this yet, call a friend, contact a friend, text a friend, go out to dinner, go out to lunch, have a coffee, get on a Zoom, and go over these questions together. Discuss them. Be a disciple. So what's the message of this passage today? What's the good news in this passage today? What's one thing from this reading that touched your heart? What's one thing from this reading that you can live out this week? What happens when a seed is planted? What does that have to do with your faith? With modern psychology, does it sound good to hate your life? Is Jesus asking us to serve him? Does that sound right for Jesus to ask or demand people to serve him? How will Jesus be glorified? What must he endure to be glorified? What do you have to endure to be glorified? When do you see Jesus lifted up at Mass? How are you drawn to Jesus? And when were you first drawn to Jesus? If someone asked you to see Jesus, where would you send them? Where would you take them if someone asked you to see Jesus? These are the reflections from John chapter 12, verse 20 through 33. Stay alive in your faith. Prepare for Sunday. Encounter the Lord. And be a saint. God bless.